Alrighty. We are live and we are back in the quaint little town and world of Twin Peaks, which it's been actually, I think, exactly 2 months since we last did the last three episodes because we had Halloween month, so we didn't get to come to Twin Peaks much or at all during October. But we are up to season 2, episodes 8, 9, and 10. And for some reason, the last stream, I thought the mystery ended with episode 7, and it doesn't. So basically, we have the whole mystery being solved within these next 3 episodes. And we find out who the killer is. And the golden goose that lays all the golden eggs was killed off. What's up, Ann? How are you doing? By the way, I'm watching. Now you're watching Twin Peaks. What are you up to in that? If you want to watch along, I don't know if you saw up to what we're up to yet, but we're on season 2, episode 8, and you're up to 2017. Nice, man. Very cool. Yeah, it's been a while since we did the Twin Peaks watches. September 21st. It was the day after my birthday. Was the last time we did the last 3 episodes. Because I was saying we had October and Halloween season, so I was not going to Twin Peaks for that month. So now we're back to it. Graduation December 12th. Nice. That's something to look forward to. Pretty sure it's this episode where they arrest Leland. Pretty sure it's this one, not the next one, because we left it off with Maddy being killed, right? With Laura's cousin getting killed by Leland, which we know he's possessed by Bob. I mean, we know if you've seen this before, but this way you find out. And then they arrested Ben Horne for Laura's murder, or they're detaining him right now, and he's waiting for Jerry, his brother, right, to get there. I think that's like the beginning of this episode, but we'll get it started in a few minutes. Besides that, any new releases or new horror films you've watched, Anthony, or anybody else that they've enjoyed lately? I haven't had a good streak lately with like new releases, but I haven't really been watching a lot of them. Like I watched Clown in a Cornfield finally a few weeks ago. I didn't really care for that. The new episode of Creep, the Creep tapes, I didn't care for that. The first episode of season 2 was really, really good. I thought that was excellent. There was some real dumb shit in episode 2 though of the Creep tapes. Still wasn't bad, but it was just even though it's a whole thing, and if you haven't seen it, it's not worth getting it to. But if it comes up at some point from somebody in the next few hours during this stream, they'll talk about it. Just stupid cop stuff in it that it does happen, but it's just written so bad in that episode. It just did not work for me. I hope they do better with episode 3 of the Creep tapes. You're watching Alien 3. You know, I've never seen Alien 3. I think I've told you. I mean, I've said this many times. Maybe you've heard it, but I've never been a big fan of that whole franchise, the whole Alien franchise. Same with Predator. I've seen the first of both, obviously, they're classics. I know I've seen Predator 2 when I was a kid. I don't remember the last time I saw that movie. And that's it from the Predator movies. And then when it comes to the Alien films, I only saw the original, which is a masterpiece, most of my life. And then I just saw Aliens a few years ago. Did not care for it at all, really. And then that's it. And then Romulus, Alien Romulus, was the only other one from that franchise that I ever got into and saw. And thanks for sharing it, buddy. You got spaghetti ready for Stranger Things? Oh, that's right. Stranger Things season 5, right? The final season comes out this doesn't it come out like today or tomorrow or sometime like the 20 something? If Joe was in here, he'd know fucking immediately. Let's see. Pretty sure I read like, all right, the 26th. All right, so it was the 20 something. So we got a few days till that comes out. All right. I mean, I'd have to rewatch like the last season for sure. I would have to rewatch season 4 of Stranger Things, or a really thorough recap at least, because I didn't care for season 4 much. I mean, I don't even remember really what happens with that show in that whole season, but it wasn't bad or anything. I just don't remember it, and it took me forever to finish season 4. Like I watched half of it, and then I finished it like half a year later. So I don't know. It's a whole thing. I got to catch up though, or rewatch some of season 4 for sure before season 5. But awesome. All right, I'm gonna kickstart this because this is like 3 episodes, and then if people come in, they want to watch along, I'll throw a link. 3, 2, 1, go. Since I'm only counting for me. Every time I hear the music and the theme to Twin Peaks, one, I think of David Lynch and I get upset for a second. And then two, it's like going back home in a way. You hear that music swell. It's like, we're back to Twin Peaks. What's the name of this episode? Again, it is episode 8 of season 2. And I know the name's in the description. I put it. Something with a dead girl. Drive with a dead girl? Drive with a dead girl, yes. And so we left off with Ben Horne getting arrested or detained, as I said, for Laura's murder. After we saw Leland murder Maddy, Laura's cousin. I want to see that. I want to go to that location where they filmed the Great Northern exterior and the waterfall. I know Echo lives, maybe not close to that, but I know he lives in Washington. I think he lives maybe like an hour or 2 from where they shot the Great Northern exteriors. I'm actually pretty happy with how these watch-alongs for this show has turned out, because since the beginning of the channel, I've been wanting to talk Twin Peaks and just not knowing like the best way to do it. Doing like a review per season, like a video on each season or something like that. And then I did a video on Fire Walk with Me on the movie, a deep dive on that. That works for that movie. But for the series, I was like, I don't know how to do it. These watch-alongs have worked out because this is going to be hard. The next, getting through the rest of season 2, harder than it's been because it does drop in quality a decent amount after the next few episodes. Basically, with this stream, by the time these 3 episodes are done, that's when the mystery's over and we start getting really crazy plot lines and stuff. And none of it's that great until Lynch came back for the finale. So we just got to get through the rest of this season, like half of it to go, a little over half, to get to the return. And then I will be fully excited to watch and talk each episode of that, which I already got that one figured out. We'll do 2 episodes of the return since they're hour-long episodes. These are half hour, 40-minute each. So I've been doing the 3 at a time. I think 4 would work. 2 would work for the return. Back-to-back 2-hour streams, which means it would take 9 streams to do the whole season of the return. God, I love Ray Wise so much. You're going to see Wicked on Tuesday. Nice. The movie or the play? I never saw the play. I never saw the movie. But I've heard good things. I've never been a musical person, though. That's another thing. I've never been a fan of musicals. Which is weird because I'm a musician my whole life. So you'd think, I mean, there are a few musicals that I think are pretty good, but never been a musical guy. Everything with Ray Wise on screen just captivates me every single time. Especially now that, like, in the show, he's out as Bob. Like, when you watch this for the first time, you know it's Bob now. That's possessed Leland. You know Leland's the killer, even though they don't know yet. You see I love that shot. The reflection of Bob in the mirror when Leland looks in the mirror with the golf club. That's great. That's right. He has to hide Maddy's body now because he killed Maddy in the last episode where we left off. That's such a creepy shot, man. When the way Leland walks out the door and he just has like this grin on his face, that's so fucking creepy. Though it's just a subtle little grin. So what's up, solar guy AJ? I'm going with AJ. What's up, AJ? Happy Saturday. How you doing, man? You a Twin Peaks fan? If you want to watch along, I don't know if you have copies of Twin Peaks. If not, I pinned a link for a Look movie, which is free, and it has all the episodes on there. We're up to season 2, episode 8. Haven't seen. Yeah, you can. You got to watch it from the beginning. So good. David Lynch is one of my favorite directors of all time. Which it was so sad, man. I'm still torn up over losing him earlier this year. That was probably one of the biggest losses of the year for me. That affected me the most, and we lost a lot of great people this year, like musicians, actors, directors, like all celebrities of all kinds. We lost so many this year, but Lynch is still up there with, that one hurt me. What's up, Keith? How you doing, brother? You ready for Trilogy tomorrow? We're definitely doing it tomorrow. We have to move Trilogy of Terror around. Like, move that shit around like 5 times. It's Halloween week. That was like one of the leftovers from that week. And yeah, I know. We lost so many people, man. It's crazy. This last year has been nuts. It just seems like it doesn't stop. Just one after the next. Like every week, there's like 2 or 3. It's like, damn, man, this one, who was recently? We had Diane Keaton. We lost recently. That was terrible. So many. I mean, so many this year. It's been a bad year for losing celebrities. What are you up to, Keith? Oh, yeah. Jerry does show up here. I thought it was like one of the first scenes in this episode. Jerry comes in to see his brother Ben, and Ben they're holding for the possible murder of Laura. And he's a lawyer, but he like was the last in his class, Jerry. And he comes in. I love how he says they can only hold you for 24 hours, or is it 48? Like, he's so funny. He knows nothing about the law. And then in just like a scene or two, right? Like he says, I advise you as your attorney to get a better attorney or something like that. That's so funny. Jerry is such an underrated character in this show. Yeah, Ace. That's right. You did a video too, a tribute or something for him. Yeah, Ace. That was another one we lost. I got to say, I was never the biggest Kiss fan, but if you want to hear some fun trivia, my mother used to hula dance and do Hawaiian dancing, and she opened for Kiss a few times back in, I don't know, probably the late 70s, early 80s, something like that. So, yeah, my mom was a hula dancer opening for Kiss a few times. But never was a huge fan of them. They got a few great songs, but he's a great musician. I was sad hearing he passed. Oh, and The Substance? No, I got to go watch. I got to check that out because I love that movie. I saw Eric posted something about he was going to do something with The Substance. That's really cool. Yeah, that was my film of last year. I was so happy. I got to try to get Corley on, the director, because I had one of the editors of the movie on in January, I think, like right after the film came out at the end of last year. And it was a pleasure talking with that guy. I mean, just talking anything with anyone to do with that movie. But he's been friends with the director, with Corley, for like 20 years or so. I should reach out, see if now that the hype has died down over the movie, to see if I can get her on, because I'd love to talk that and her movie Revenge that she did before that. I like the OG lineup for about 74. Yeah, I mean, of course. Is Black Phone 2 good? I haven't seen it. Honestly, I'd be the last person to ask about that one because I'm not a fan of the original Black Phone. I don't think it's bad, but I just it never clicked for me. I just thought it was a decent mainstream horror film, and that was about it. But I will check it out. It just hasn't been on like my, have to have it, gotta see it immediately list of new releases, which there are a lot of movies I have to catch up on. The Long Walk, I still have to throw on. I've had that on my computer for like 3.5 weeks, a month, maybe more. Um, what else? Chris Stuckman's movie, Shelby Oaks. I want to watch and do that one. The Black Phone 2, I guess, is another new release. I'll do that soon. Keeper, yes. That's the one I was thinking of. I was trying to think Osgood Perkins' new movie, the name. Yeah, Keeper. That one is on my list. That one will be coming sometime soon, like this week for sure. Which also, for anyone who didn't see the post, there is a new sister channel for the channel called JT's Horror Discussions Bite Size Edition, where I basically will be putting just shorter reviews and shorts from either that are for TikTok or just shorts in general, short reviews. I don't want to flood the main channel with shorts. I stopped posting those like 6 months ago because it kind of fucks with the algorithm. So that's kind of like the shorter, more brief review sister channel now. So if you're not subscribed to the new one, go ahead over to JT's Horror Discussions Bite Size Edition and subscribe over there. Because any reviews, anything that's not like 10 minutes or more that I don't feel I can make a full deep dive like out of or discussion, then I'm not going to post it on the channel here, and it'll go to the main one. Yeah, bites. Well, without the D, bite size, because that is the grammatically correct way. Is bite size. But I do like the double entendre because vampire bites. I thought Jaws, shark bites. Like bite is a big term in horror, so that works, right? I think so. I don't know. Came up with that shit in like 2 minutes. Think it was a good idea. Hey, Skids. How you doing? You just did Shelby Oaks today and Dream Eater. Oh, Dream Eater is another one I heard of. What do you think of Shelby Oaks? Without like spoiling much or anything, but just like briefly. I'm curious because I was never a fan of Chris Stuckman's. I'll say that straight up. He's nothing against him or anything like that. I think he was one of the first ones and did a great job building his channel very early on in YouTube. And he became a really, really big content creator and reviewer. I just never liked his personality is basically it. I can't watch his stuff. Like I very rarely watched any reviews by him. Then when he announced that he's going to stop reviewing anything that he doesn't like that was just weird to me. And that's fine because you don't want to step on any toes in the industry because he was trying to get in there and make his movie. 100% understand that. But don't call yourself a movie reviewer or a critic anymore because you're not. Like if you're just talking about movies you like, then you're just talking about movies you like. I mean, you're not critiquing movies if you're not going to critique a movie negatively in any way. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I still have every intention of giving his movies like the best chance I can. It's okay, not something I would watch again. That's basically what I've been hearing and what I would expect. I think that Mike Flanagan has never really disappointed me, but I know he just produced this and basically is the reason the movie got made and finished, because I know it was in like development hell for a few years. And I know Stuckman and Flanagan were pretty close for a while, but I haven't heard a lot of great things about it, like really great, like just good for him, YouTuber that was able to have his dream come true and become a director and make a movie. I mean, that's excellent. And I think everybody would agree on that. Even if you don't like him as a YouTuber or as a person, even though no one can really say that if they don't know him personally, but you know what I mean. So, I mean, just the fact that he was able to make it, I said the same thing about the guy who directed Skinamarink, even though I thought that movie was terrible. And Keith, I know you're a fan of that movie. So you're someone who could speak to the contrary and play devil's advocate for me. But I said the same thing with that movie. I couldn't stand that movie, but yet I gave him a ton of praise for making the movie get made and being able to, realize his vision, which anytime a director can do that, or a crew of people, a group of people can get their vision out there, it's a good thing. Whether you like it or enjoy it, that's a completely different thing. I haven't heard much good about it so far. Yeah, I mean, I've heard mostly decent to some. I feel were just straight up blowing his dick just because they were friends with him, and I know they are. YouTubers I've known for years that know him personally and stuff, and it's expected, of course. They're gonna give good reviews and stuff, but some people are hyping it up like crazy, and it was so obvious. And if you know those channels, the bigger ones, the politics involved and shit, they know each other. So I was waiting to see like more unbiased stuff on it, and nothing really great ever came up like on my feed or anything like that, talking like great about it. Just said it was decent, nothing to write home about, and that's pretty much what I expected. Yeah, Flanagan was executive producer, was the only reason I gave the movie a go. Makes sense. Plus it was first time. Yeah, absolutely. And I hope he does. And I can't even speak and say hope he does because I haven't seen Shelby Oaks yet to even say if that was good or not. Skinamarink has to be seen in the proper context. I've seen that movie a few times in very different contexts, man. It's just not for me. I know you are a big fan of it, though. That's why I purposely mentioned you. Because I said, oh, perfect. That's someone right here who could, fight against me on that one. Because there are fans of that movie. I mean, hell, if we're watching Twin Peaks, David Lynch praised Skinamarink, which blew my mind. I mean, but it is something I could see Lynch praising. So it didn't blow my mind too much, but it's like better than any sleeping pill you can imagine. Skinamarink, that film for me. This is when he says it. When he says your alibi has been roasted to Ben and they can establish motive. And he says, as your attorney, I advise you and your brother to get a better attorney. That's fucking great. There you go. I strongly suggest give yourself a better lawyer. I love their whole relationship. I always have. They're so underrated, the two of them. They don't have a lot of screen time together throughout the series, especially in the return. But Ben and Jerry, which is so great that that's their names. Ben and Jerry Horne are such great brothers. They have had such a great dynamic on this show together. No, I meant from a certain point of view. Yeah, I know what you meant. It's just still, it doesn't work for me. It's very cool how he made it look like and feel like a dream, like a nightmare, like a childhood nightmare. And I could relate to that and see that he did a good job like pulling that off, even if it didn't work for me. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I just said. I get all that. It's just it didn't. It's just a boring movie for me. I mean, that's all I could say. Is that I get everything he was trying to do with it, and I think he did capture that feeling of a childhood nightmare very well, just not in an engaging way for me that I found entertaining. I feel like it lacked substance, like Lynch's type stuff what it has in spades. That's like the difference between the two of them. Well, that's also why I brought you up too and brought the movie up, because that's a good point. And more to your argument, I mean, there are a lot of people who do like the movie. I've heard people who like this movie and love Skinamarink. So you're saying you haven't talked to people who like it? For the most part, yeah, because there's not a lot in the majority who liked it, but there are a lot of people who did like that movie. And there should be more people for you to talk to that like that movie and like bounce your ideas with it, like do a watch along that movie and have someone join you for it. I'm sure that would be a hard one to get someone to come on for most people, but I'm sure, I mean, just to hang out and talk, I'd come on and do it with you and watch it. I just couldn't get into it. Oh, this is when we see Norma's mother, right? She came back to town and she's like a restaurant critic or some shit, and she gives Norma shit her entire life. Fuck off. Fuck off. That's funny. There's somewhere out there. They are out there for sure. Oh, that's right. This is like her new husband, Norma's mother. I don't know why the mom is so friggin' picky with Norma. She gives her so much shit, like I said. Norma's like one of the greatest human beings on the planet in this show. She's like one of the nicest people, one of the most moral people on the show. Absolute sweetheart, puts up with everyone's BS. I don't know why, like her mother gives her so much shit. And she seems to love her husband, her dickhead husband, Norma's husband. Hank. I was blanking on the name. Hank. Like that little quip like that, like, oh, the food critic coming, and the mom says, oh, that's why you made the place look so nice. It's like, fuck you, lady. Why are you such a dick to your daughter? She looks familiar too, the mom, whoever that is, the actress. Because this season 8, there's 22 episodes in season 2, I think, right? 21 or 22. 22. So by the end of this one, we're almost halfway through season 2 by the end of this stream. Oh, here we got the one armed man. He's in his bed at the Great Northern. Flip it out. So we'll have to suffer through the worst part of this whole show for like 3 streams or so, right? Would probably be, yeah, the rest of season 2 after this. 3 or 4 streams up to the finale, which is excellent. We got the one armed man just knocked out his security detail and just flung out the window. He's on the run. We got a band on the run. I like to have at least a couple of people in the chat for the watch along. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you gotta have fans of the movie first. There's the Hank, the brother. I wasn't even sure if I was going to do this tonight. Excuse me. I was thinking of it, and I said, actually, it's been a while since we did Twin Peaks. I just made the stream up like maybe like an hour and a half ago. So let's just dive in. Just dive into Twin Peaks. Because it gets like ultra soap opera like the rest of the season. Hey, Tasha. Not watching the show because, as you probably know, I've never watched it. But hi, how you doing, honey? Love you, Keith. How are you, Tasha? And yeah, this would be like the wrong time to watch this show because it's like this episode and the next one basically are like the reveal of everything so far leading up to it. Hi, hi, nice. I keep thinking if well, like tonight, I was thinking it was Friday again for some reason. Like it didn't feel like a Saturday today. Oh, we got Ginger messaging. If you're not subscribed to Ginger Ninja for some reason, go over to his channel. He just messaged me, so he gets a shout out. All right, all right. Haha. I'll start from the beginning. Yeah, I have to. Oh, together the one where they with Franco, right? And Allison Brie. That's another one. And I was saying newer releases, and that one's from earlier this year that I've had on my hard drive for months, and I never got around to it. I got to watch that too. But all right, man, yeah, enjoy it. And I'll see you tomorrow night. We are doing Trilogy of Terror tomorrow night at 11. Me and Keith over here on the channel. So, hi, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Trilogy of Terror is a very, very fun anthology, which I just watched for the first time in a bit. The Twilight Zone movie, which is such a fun flick. That's a great anthology too. Every segment in that's great. Even though there's all the controversy and terrible shit that happened with John Landis with his segment. Oh, Pete has a bad feeling. That's never a good thing. That's right. The one armed man is on the run. Oh, that's right. That's uh, what's her niece, right? Lucy's niece. Andy comes in, thinks it's like his kid at first. That's so funny. He fates. That's so funny. He's such a great character, but he's so fucking stupid. But he has so much heart, Andy. He makes the show great. Together was good, was it? Yeah, I don't know why I just never pulled the trigger on watching that. I've had it for months, and every week or two, I'll say, "Oh yeah, that's right, I got that movie. I should throw that on and finally watch it." Oh, this is funny. That's right. Pete brings out the tape recorder, revealing that Catherine's still alive. When did Piper Laurie die? That was last year, right? That wasn't this year. But that sucked too when she died. She's so great. Which now Ben knows that she's alive. He's in jail. She's the one that can corroborate his whole story and his alibi and get him out of there. And he wants what? The Ghostwood. She wants the Ghostwood property, right? From him. I'll pay anything. You're damn right. Get him out of jail. Oh, that's right. That's why he doesn't. I mean, I always knew why he doesn't recognize her when she comes as Takamura, whatever the name is. She dresses up like a Japanese dude with a hat and like a beard and all that, and he doesn't realize it for a while. And same with Pete. But she says here on the recording that a representative of hers will be in contact and meet you and stuff like that. I don't know if I ever realized that or just forgot. I love Pete's line there. She's a caution, isn't she? That's great. I don't know why you would. I mean, yeah, he's pissed. He starts wrecking the cell and stuff, throwing his bed apart, but he's got to still sleep there later. I mean, that's just more shit he's got to clean up. Yeah, that's the curse, right? There's so many fucking movies. I mean, just the last 3.5 years or so since I started the channel, I've reviewed maybe 1,300 movies, somewhere around there, well over 1,000. And then there's still so many movies, just new releases I got to keep up with that I can't, and just classics from back in the day that I never got around to, and movies that I just haven't seen from back in the day for some reason. There's so many movies, and even just finding something to watch nowadays is hard. Just looking on streaming or any service, Tubi, Prime, just trying to find something. It's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes later, you're still browsing through it, still looking for something to watch. Especially when I'm trying to pick something to do a review on or a movie. Because then I'll be scrolling for 25, 30 minutes. I'm just like, all right, I've done this, I've done that. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this. This movie sucks. And that goes on for like a half hour. That's right. This is where he almost gets caught. Or I don't know what Bob inside of Leland was thinking in this scene. Because he's speeding, and then Harry and Cooper pull him over, and they see it's Leland, and then they get the call and they end up leaving. But Leland was grabbing his golf clubs and says to Cooper, "You want to see the golf clubs he got?" He goes to the trunk, and then he has the golf club, and it looked like he was going to attack him, but he can't be that stupid, Bob. I don't know why he was like creeping up. He creeps up on him in a second like that. I feel like I should just say screw it and then go back. I mean, yeah, you could do that, but yeah, you could do that. It doesn't really matter because, like I said, this is like the reveal episode. But basically, everything from this point forward, there's a lot of stuff that obviously you haven't seen and will see. And then the third season of the show goes so out there that you'd have to rewatch everything anyway before we ever get there. But I know it's on Look Movie. I'll post the link again, even though it's pinned. If I still have the link. If not, you're shit out of luck. You are shit out of luck. It's pinned though. It's the pinned comment. I think that goes right to season 2, episode 8, which is the one we're still on. Yeah, so he calls Cooper's name, and he has Maddy's body there, and then he pulls out the club, and he walks up behind Cooper like this, and then he says, "All right, Leland, we'll see you later. We got to run." And he said, "All right, see you later." What was he gonna do right there? He did see Maddy's body. What was his plan? Bob was just gonna kill or try to attack Cooper, knowing that Harry's right there. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a creepy scene just to be creepy. Because we know Bob's smart. He ain't that dumb. And if you need a timestamp, Tasha, just let me know. We're at 35 minutes coming up. Which that's right. This is another long fucking episode. I always forget because the episode length varies throughout this whole show. I remember that one stream when we did 3 episodes, and the first episode ended up being 2 hours for some reason. I said, "Oh shit, that's right." Ended up being a 3.5, 4 hour stream. And he wakes up, says, "I want to talk to you about my sperms." They did a good job casting whoever this is as Lucy's sister. They do look pretty similar and sound similar too. Although no one has the voice like Lucy does. She is so annoying at times. Her voice just too much. Gwen, that's her name. Couldn't think of her because you don't see her again. I don't think ever. Lucy's sister. Mine were all dead supposedly at the time. Makes sense. Coffee is always essential. It took him this long to realize that's not Lucy's baby. He just looked up and looked over at the baby. Here we go. Here's Cooper. Here's the man, the one-armed man, Philip Gerard, sniffing down Ben Horne. Sounds good. Everything that comes from the man in the not the man in the mask, the one-armed man. Everything that comes out of his mouth is great in this episode. Oh, now he shouldn't have talked, Jerry, because now they're charging Ben Horne, even though they really don't have any evidence. I don't know why he decided to do this. They have a little bit of evidence, but not a lot. I got sucked into the black room, the Black Lodge. Yeah. I love how he waits till afterwards to tell Harry that Cooper doesn't think Van Horn's the killer. But you could see it from Harry's point of view. He's like, I'm done with all the dwarfs and the tall men, giants, and all the Tibetan shit, and I'm done with all this. Like, we have our guy here. That's it. And if you don't believe in all the stuff that Cooper's been saying throughout the whole, the whole show, then I could see Harry be getting frustrated here. For sure. Especially with the murder of a young girl like that, and the whole town is so shooken up. And everything else that's happened since then, absolutely. I'd want to put it, just get it over with. But we know that Ben's not the killer. Tasha's about to get a recap of the whole show when she gets back. Which is not hard to sum it up. I mean, you can sum the whole show up in like 3 sentences leading up to like this moment. Now, who is this guy again? Professor Niles, this guy that Hank is meeting with. Isn't he like he has ties, I guess, to government or something? Somebody who, that could pull strings for him with his probation or parole? I think that's kind of what it is. Yeah, this is like an older friend of Hank's that I guess went legit since. Yeah, he's still he's just trying to bait him every way he can. Okay, that's right. So the guy stole from a church bank account or something like that. And this girl that this guy is married to now has no idea of his past. So Hank has some blackmail over this dude. Keeper, though, that's the next movie on my list, like new release. Because I did not care for the monkey. I did not like Osgood Perkins's The Monkey. After loving Longlegs, I still feel he's never reached Black Coat's daughter perfection since that film. That's still his masterpiece. But I've loved pretty much everything from Perkins up until The Monkey, which I didn't hate or anything, but I did not like it. I was pretty let down with that one. That's right. Now Norma's there with her mom, right? That's right. That's Norma's mom's husband, and she doesn't know anything about his history, but they knew each other. That's what it is. There's not a star in the sky tonight, he says. I'd be afraid every time there's a knock on the door after he got shot that time, at the end of season 1. Oh, Audrey comes to check on him. That's so nice. Oh, what the hell's wrong with my face? Okay. Pretty sure this is where they like abandoned the whole subplot with them having some potential romance. Audrey and Cooper. You still feel some of it here, but then like once the whole mystery of Laura's murder is solved and tied up by the end of this episode and the next one, then they moved away from that, and then Annie came in. Your challenge self is back. We are at 44, 44, 4445, 4446, 4447. Telephone rings. The telephone ringing at the Great Northern Hotel with Dale Cooper. All right, so you need a crash course recap of the show. Basically, you're in the town of Twin Peaks, Washington, and a popular high school girl, Laura Palmer, was murdered, and she was found dead. They brought the FBI in, who Agent Cooper here is from the FBI, and he was brought in to investigate and figure out who the murderer is. Now we're up to when we find out who the murderer is. So that's basically all you need to know, really. Then there's a whole bunch of characters and townspeople, and it's kind of like a soap opera, but it's like a parody of a soap opera. But not really. I mean, it is a soap opera, but just a weird one from the minds of David Lynch and Mark Frost. Oh yeah, the 4444 angel number. Yeah, it turned that right when I started reading the timestamp. This body they just found is the cousin of Laura, the girl who was killed, and that's the same actress as Laura. And that's how they found her in the very first episode of the show. Same way, wrapped up in plastic, but she has blonde hair. That's her. At the end credits there. Which is the end of this episode, so it's the next episode that ends the whole mystery. I think. Could be 10. All right, moving on to the next episode. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And if you're not, don't worry, I'll pause it. Yeah, Paramount does have ads, doesn't it? I own the series on Prime, so I don't have to worry about any of that. Let me know in the ad when you're up to this next episode, and I'll start. I'll do another countdown. Where are we? Yes, here. Oh, not skip intro. Could always hear the intro. This is one of the few shows too that I never skip the intro credits for. All right, start the next one. 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect. And it's like a little sawmill town. Like the sawmill was like one of the major sources of income for the whole town. And then there's a whole bunch of other weird shit, like all this behind me where I am right now. There's a black lodge that these entities are from. And one of them is possessing one of the characters and is the reason the murders are taking place. But there's like good entities and bad ones, and there's a white lodge, and then the parallel version of it is the black lodge, and this is the red room, like the waiting area. It's really out there, especially as it goes on. It's one of the greatest shows ever made. Let me lower it for the intro music so it doesn't get picked up. Because then they canceled it in its second season in 1991, I think. And then after like the 22nd episode. And then he did a movie, David Lynch did a movie, which was a prequel showing the last few days of the last week, I think, of Laura Palmer's life before she was murdered as a prequel to this. And then years and years later, in 2017, we got a third season finally, The Return. No, Miguel Ferrer, he passed away too. There's been so many people from the show that passed away after The Return aired. The log lady already was dying, I think, when they filmed her scenes in The Return. That's right. So they find the letter O under Maddy's fingernail, just like they found the letter R or T. I think it was T, right, under Laura's. I love Albert. Everything that Miguel Ferrer did with this character is so good in this show. He also works for the FBI, Tasha. And then this is the two people from the sheriff department. The sheriff is Harry S. Truman, like the president, and that was Hawk, the other detective with him, a Native American who knows like some of the legends of the woods around Twin Peaks and the lodges, the Black Lodge, the White Lodge. It don't discriminate. There's all different lodges. And these two were best friends of Laura before she died. And James was seeing Laura, and then she died, and then now they kind of got together while trying to figure out who the murderer was too this whole time. Love the music there. Oh, come on. Norma's mom is such a bitch. I was saying with the last episode. She spits the eggs out like that in front of her daughter at her daughter's restaurant. Come on. I'm sure they're not that bad. Yeah, there you go. That's right, Norma. She speaks up. The menus are very presentable. That is a funny joke in her defense. Not the right time for it, no, but funny nonetheless. I'll go pick the mushrooms. Oh, that's right. This is where. Oh, is this the episode where they go to Mrs. Tremont? Yeah, because Donna hears what Andy's saying. There was a guy earlier in the season, Harold Smith, who had a missing, like a secret diary that Laura gave to him before she died. And he killed himself, and he wrote what Andy's saying, this French saying, in his suicide letter. I'm a lonely soul. That's right. That's what it means. Because I always say with this show, the Tremonts and the Chalfonts are like one of the most mysterious things about this show. Because we see the old lady and her grandson in Fire Walk with Me in the movie, and they're referred to as the Chalfonts in that, and there's two Chalfonts mentioned and a Tremont that's mentioned. And then in the show here, she's Mrs. Tremont with the grandson. Now they go back to her same trailer, and this is very similar to how season 3, stuff later on that we see in the return. That it's a totally different woman, but she's still Mrs. Tremont. The whole Tremont Chalfont thing is, I think, a lot bigger part of the whole mystery of Twin Peaks than people give it credit for. Especially since we hear a lot more on it. Not a lot more, but we hear more on it in the return in season 3. And in the last few episodes, in integral parts, too. This woman, though, we never see again. This actress or this portrayal of Mrs. Tremont. She gets to, oh, this is right. That's right. This is when she reads the page from the diary. And it's the same dream that Agent Cooper had about the Red Lodge. So they both had the same dream, which is impossible. Bob is oh yeah, there's a lot of spooky vibes to it because there's a lot of supernatural weird stuff that goes on. But Bob is one of the, whatever he is, as a spirit, he's a lodge entity is what we call them. And he's the one that's been possessing somebody, and that's who killed Laura and now her cousin and another girl before that. And Cooper has been seeing the giant, like this tall guy who's also a lodge entity and is like a good one, and this little dwarf dude who's right here. And has seen him and had the dream exactly like she just read from Laura's diary, that Laura had the exact same dream. We see that early on in like season 1, episode 3, episode 4. It's like a mix of soap opera, science fiction, drama, and just weird. Just as weird as you and like crime mystery too. Now Mike, this guy, he's missing an arm. And Mike cut off his arm, and it became this little dwarf in the lodge. So Mike is a lodge entity, but he's inhabiting this dude's body. He explains it here a bit when they were killing together. he's known to us here. That's an interesting line. I don't remember that line about the ring. That's interesting. Even for 1990 or so, looks great. The effect of his arm missing. Yeah, that happens all the time. You know that by now. Love that shot. And now this old dude. I mean, it's heavily implied that this old guy is the giant, just a different form of the giant, I guess, or the fireman, which he's also known as. We see him a few times in season 1 and 2. And I feel like he's like a physical manifestation of the giant in some way. That's how I look at him. Because there's a scene in season 1, I think, where they're in the red room and it's the old man that's in the red room, and then he says one and the same, and then he turns into the giant. So I'm guessing that I always assume that the same entity. I mean, that's not a bad storyline that Truman comes up with. Like if Ben was the murderer, I mean, that all sounds pretty good. Hmm. I love how they trick Leland too in this up into getting him to the sheriff station. Then you said you didn't have any sperms. So funny, her voice. Oh, he wants to talk to Dick Tremaine. Can't forget, he's in men's fashions. He says that many times. We need to talk. That is, if you're not too busy. He can't even be like mean, Andy, if he tries. Here's Catherine Piper Laurie in the ridiculous getup. She's so great in this scene. I don't know how. Again, even though she said on the blackmail tape, and he's in prison. I'm sure he's desperate as hell to get out of there. That associate of hers is going to come with the papers and stuff and talk to him. He doesn't realize that this Catherine dressed up like a Japanese dude. I don't know. She's the same height. It's not like she tried to change her height or anything. Tojamura-san. That's her fake name here. The boy genius. That's so funny. I love when he finally does realize. She takes her foot out of the shoe, puts it in the salad, wiggles it with her nail polish. That's funny. And Piper Laurie was such a great actress. Like even though everything she's saying, he's like looking at her like it's you? Like, oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ben. Ben. He's literally kissing her feet. So she wants the mill and Ghostwood signed over to her. And then she screws him over, yeah, which is great too. I love that line too. We spent our entire adult scenes lying to each other. Why start telling the truth now? That's great. Those are nicely painted. Yeah, they're her toes. It's funny. It's great, that whole scene. Her little disguise, this Tarabora san, whatever it is. The one in gray, the white hair here, which his hair turned white just like overnight, is Laura's father and is the one who killed her. He's possessed by Bob. Like when this show came out, like in 1990, it was the biggest thing there was, and like the mystery of who killed Laura Palmer was everywhere. That was like the biggest thing on TV. Then they kept pressuring David Lynch to reveal who the killer was, even though he never intended to, and have it just be an ongoing mystery that other mysteries branched off of. And they pushed him to do it, and then he finally did. And then he left the project, basically, until the finale. I read what you said. That's funny. Same brain. Oh, now she asked about Harold and the missing diary part. Oh, I love Ray Wise. That's so creepy. It was like he was about to do something to her, and she was literally saved by the ring. That's so creepy. How he says it's the strangest thing. He puts the piece of gum in his mouth. That gum you like's coming back, gonna come back in style. Which is something this little dwarf says in the first season. That's a great shot too, with the mirror reflection. And that's Bob. That's the large entity spirit who's possessing Laura's father. The movie, the prequel, is so much darker because basically you know at that point that Laura's father killed his own daughter, but then like you see her like the week leading up to her death, and you see her get killed at the end of that movie, and you hear of how he was basically molesting her and raping her since she was 12 years old. So like without all the supernatural stuff and elements, it's basically about a father who molested and killed his daughter. Like, but it has all the extra layers to it and the supernatural stuff. But it's a really dark story, like stripped down like that, which it is. I mean, there's a bunch of the supernatural shit throughout the movie too, the prequel, but it never gets that dark on the show until like the return, and not with that subject matter, but just in general, like the weirdness and stuff. It was so much more weird when it came back for the third season. But the movie was the darkest thing that we ever got until the return. Oh, that's right. It's such a weird scene. They start trying to get her to dance, and they're dancing all weird. Yeah, it's a great shot. It's just so creepy because we know that he's possessed by Bob and that he's been the murderer. She has no idea. Just see how close this she's getting multiple times here to almost being killed. Yo, yo. What's up, Ginger? What's going on, brother? Have you had issues on YouTube, on the YouTube app on your phone, with leaving comments on shorts? Because there was a short that popped up of yours earlier tonight that I liked, and then I was trying to leave a comment on, and I forget the movie at this point, but I couldn't leave a comment. I was trying to comment, and it wouldn't pop up with the comment thing. I don't know. Just figured maybe other people having the same issue with shorts. Finally made it. Good to have you, man. Hope you are well. Hope you are as well, man. What are you up to? I know you said you were enjoying your nice day. We're on season 2, episode 9. I had to fill Tasha in on the whole show, basically, leading up to this moment. Which this episode is basically the one that reveals everything. That's what I've heard. Doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I actually the same thing happened the other night when I was posting a short on the new channel, and I was trying to leave a comment saying like, "What are your thoughts on this?" And I couldn't fucking open it on the YouTube app. It was annoying, and I just gave up. Sorry, whatever, fucking well, swipe it away. Sorry, but thank you. No, get out of here. No, it's fine, of course. Like I said, it's not hard to sum the storyline of this show up till this point. I mean, I streamlined through so much, but like the core mystery is just who killed Laura Palmer, and there's weird lodge entities and supernatural stuff going on, and then here we are. Like that's basically the sum up, and then you just have to know all the characters in the town and all their gossip and relationship and who's fucking who, because everyone's fucking each other and cheating on each other, just like any soap opera. And since it's a small town, everyone knows each other. They all know each other's secrets and their business. So then you had this young girl who died who was very, very popular. It shook the whole town to its core. But then all her secrets started coming out. Like she was a cocaine addict and she was cheating on her boyfriend with this other guy and this other guy and this other guy. And just all this stuff that came out of how broken of a person she was inside. I love this whole scene and how they get Leland to the sheriff's station. Also notice the red, the curtains on the stage, just like the Red Room. And we got Big Ed Hurley here too. I love Ed. Another great character. Because they currently got Ben Horne charged with the murder of Laura. Cooper knows it's not him. Oh, that's right. This is another scene in a minute where we see the old man and why I think he's just a physical manifestation of the giant or the fireman. The real old dude. He comes like creeping in with Major Briggs in a minute. And he says like, "Oh, I found this guy on the side of the road and he had to get here." So I'm pretty positive that's what the old man is. He's just another version of the giant or the fireman. Yeah, for sure. And it is not much, actually. This is only the 8th episode into season 2, and season 1 only has 8 episodes. So you got like, this is like the 15th episode of the show. I love Albert. He knows it's not time yet. He says someone's missing. And here's Major Briggs, who is Bobby, which was Laura's boyfriend before she died. His father is this guy, Major Briggs, who works for the military, the government in some way, and real hush hush, like space monitoring type, things like that. That's what he works with. Projects that he can't really talk about. And then this old dude here, and he gives a piece of gum to him with the whole that gum you like is going to come back in style. And Bob says it. And then that's right, he says the line. And then it freezes on them. Interesting. Because Cooper's seeing all this in his mind. Like, because he's heard all this before. And now he remembers the dream. And what Laura whispered. My father killed me. And then there's the giant. So is that he has to be the old man, like, or they're linked in some way, because he sees the old man and the giant like right after the other in the Red Room, and now he gets his ring back. The giant gave him back his ring because he solved the mystery. Great how he sets this up. Might want to bring along Leland as your attorney, just so Bob isn't, he's not suspicious yet. I wish we got more Major Briggs in the return, actually, in season 3. I mean, I know there is a decent amount of his character that, gets the plot going and has a decent amount to do with it. But, like, he's dead. But, like, his murder does play into a lot of the plot lines in the return. But I wish we saw more of his character. Because I always loved his character. And now he whispers to Harry what to do. Such a great scene. You get him in there. And it doesn't take more than a second for them to all see exactly how fucking nuts he is. That's not Leland. And he's right. He's going to need a lot more evidence than Laura told me in a dream. Man, Ray Wise's performance in this scene is just unbelievable. Like he always is, but this scene, he really is just fucking mental. I guess I kind of sort of did. I like that line too. You've been a good vehicle. Does Leland know what you've done? With a large hole where his conscience used to be. And he looks so deranged. He did such a great job. His eyes, the way he moves his head, the twitches, like everything. Ray Wise is like one of my dream interviews to get him on. My kiddo and my little cousin are out in the living room giggling like little girls. They started up again right after she whispered my father killed me, and that was creepy. That's funny. That's such a great scene. Dick. It's got to be a terrible being cursed with like being born with the name Bob, and people can call you Dick. I'm going to keep my bed. That's not open for discussion. Yeah, that's right. There's this whole subplot with Lucy and the baby here that goes on for a bit. Because after this episode is pretty much where Lynch left. Because they forced him to reveal the whole who this is the killer and the mystery. They have a test to determine the blood type of the father. Could be you, or it could be you. It's crazy the technology she mentions that they have the technology to determine the blood type of the father, like very early on technology for like DNA tests. Oh, that's right. That's what makes the smoke detector go off. That's right. What did the little man do in his dream? He danced, just like Leland danced.
We're told that Bob the killer was a gray-haired man. When Leland killed John, his hair turned gray overnight. Leland said when he was a child, the gray-haired man who lived next door was named Robert.
Oh, do you? I would stay the fuck away from Bob. I mean, Leland's not bad. I mean, Bob Palmer isn't a character technically because Bob is just Bob in this since he's a spirit. But Uncle Leland, that's funny. And considering what Bob makes him do in the series, I'd stay away from him too. Uncle Leland and Bob. That's why they knew it wasn't Ben. It wasn't Ben's blood type at the crime scene. I love that when he says, Bob's not really real. Leland is crazy, right? Then he lets the chant out. And this whole catch you with my death bag thing was originally in the original pilot. That if this didn't become a TV series, they wanted a European cut, which would conclude the story and wrap the mystery up. And that's a speech that Bob gives in I think it's the basement, right, of the Great Northern. Yeah, it's the basement of the Great Northern. And it's Bob there with Mike, the one-armed man, and Cooper. And he gives that whole "I'll catch you with my death bag" speech. Which, if you guys haven't seen the, that pilot version, the European cut of the pilot, watch it. There's some interesting stuff in there. This is a sad scene. As Leland dies. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Just the way he's like and awesome decision to have the smoke detector go off and the sprinklers and everything going off. Because they're just there in the rain. It's not really the rain, you know what I mean? In the water. And he's just saying, I killed my daughter. I can't believe I killed my daughter. Forgive me. Everything that he's saying. Oh, the music, that's heart wrenching. He wanted lives, is what Bob said. Like they used him. That's why they wanted Laura. Which goes back to the whole ring thing that we've talked about ad nauseum throughout all these watch alongs so far. If you put the Owl Cave ring on, then I'm guessing the lodge entities like Bob can't possess you. That's why at the end of Fire Walk with Me in the movie, she puts on the ring because Mike throws it into the train car. She puts the ring on, and then we see why Bob or her father here, Leland, couldn't possess her and ended up killing her instead. But then you have like Chet Desmond who put the ring on after finding it under the trailer in the Lake Trout trailer park, or is it Fat Trout? I think it's Fat Trout trailer park, and he just disappeared, and presumably just got sucked off to the Black Lodge because we never see Agent Desmond ever again after the events of the prequel. But that actually makes sense because Laura is in the Black Lodge. After she gets killed by Leland, she's in the lodge. She died with the ring on, so it makes sense. It's either, I guess, die and be in the Black Lodge, or live and be possessed like Leland was by Bob. And they wanted Laura to possess her, like Leland has been possessed by Bob. And by her putting the ring on, seals her fate. She gets killed. She knows it. And she ends up in the Black Lodge. It sucks too when he's helping Leland like pass on here. That's heartbreaking too. I see her, she's there. Ding, bling. Yes, they are brothers and both dead now. I mean, it's not funny, but you get it. I don't have to explain to you my humor. And Leland Palmer is no more. And great dramatic timing, because the sprinklers go off as soon as he takes his last breath and dies. Like they just knew. I love that. The stone, like pathway. That's cool. That looks really good. Major Briggs. This is where they have their little talk and debate on whether Bob is real or whether he's just the evil that men do. See, like, Truman's the only like real skeptical one here. Because just like Albert points out, other people have seen Bob in their visions. You know, Maddy saw him. Sarah Palmer saw him. The evil that men do. That's a good point. Sheriff Truman. And he got away. But where's Bob now? Where's Bob at? Which this is what I always think with the owls, right? The owls, I guess, are another way that the entities travel, or like forms they could take or something, because the owls are not what they seem is a clue from the giant to Cooper at the beginning of the season. And we see owls throughout the whole show. We actually see an owl in the Black Lodge fly by, like right up here somewhere, like in the background. I forget what scene from what episode. Which, speaking of episode, moving on to the last episode for tonight, episode 10. Which, what's it called? Dispute between brothers. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and now. Speaking of dispute between brothers. But I forget what scene it is that we see the owl. I got there. See, don't worry. It took a second. We got there. The owl flies in the Black Lodge, or the Red Room, whatever you want to call it. But we do see an owl in the lodge at one point, a shadow of one. So with the whole owls not being what they seem, and them just saying, "Where's Bob now?" And we see an owl fly towards the screen and POV shots of what seemed like an owl. Gonna take that as I usually do. The owls are either a form that the entities can take or that they're, I don't know. That seems like the way to take it, right? Like that they could take the form of owls. Oh yeah, the opening's fantastic. Just the music in general by Angelo Badalamenti is the composer who worked with David Lynch on many projects. Mulholland Drive is one of my favorite movies ever by Lynch and in general, but he did the music for that too. The score is excellent for this show. That's why it's one of those few openings I never skip. Because then at this point, David Lynch was pissed that he had to, reveal who the killer was, and he ended up leaving. And so the rest of the season of this season is really hit or miss. There's some good stuff, and then there's weird stuff that's just weird to be weird, kind of like they thought Lynch is just weird. So if we do a weird thing here, it'll be like Lynch. And they completely missed the point, like with everything, like how Lynch did anything. And that's how they handled it pretty much. Oh, this feels like weird and lynchy, so let's throw this in here. Like with Josie Packard, with when she gets sucked in the doorknob or the handle of the drawer, whatever it is, later on in season 2. But then Lynch came back for the finale. Then the show was gone, and then we got the prequel movie like 2 years after that, or a year after that. And then the return, or season 3, came 25 years later, which actually makes sense with the show too, with the timeline in it. Yeah, exactly. It has like this weird beauty to it, but this it has that mystery and that mysterious feel to it too. And man, you feel terrible for Sarah Palmer, man. I mean, she lost her daughter, and now her husband's dead, and she found out that her husband killed their daughter. That's crazy. Especially when we don't know yet, like the first time you see this, of what happens later on, and then especially in the return. But just like at this moment, like everything that she's been through, oh, that sucks. Sarah Palmer. Oh, really? I was waiting for another name. Is third grandma's name? It is too funny. Sarah, you got a Leland, you got a Bob, even though, like I said, Bob isn't like Palmer, isn't Bob's last name, but then Sarah too. That's funny. Yeah, Sarah is Laura's mother, who she's been seeing weird shit throughout the show too. She has also seen Bob creeping in a great shot in the first season, like creeping in the living room. That's right. This is like the wake for him. And then Cooper gets ready to leave town, I think, in this episode until he ends up staying. Everything with Nadine in this season, like going forward, I don't like any of that. With her dating Mike, the kid, the high schooler, Bobby's friend, them dating and her like getting abnormally strong and everything to do with her and Mike later in the season, I do not care for. That's one of the weird things and subplots that the season goes in. Just does not work for me. She wears an eye patch because her husband, Ed, who we saw in that scene before they brought everyone to the sheriff's station, Big Ed, is the husband of Nadine with the patch. And I think it was a hunting trip, right? That he says later on in the season. It was a hunting trip or something. It was an accident that he accidentally shot her eye out. And he loves Norma, this woman on the screen right now. And they have this whole relationship since high school, but he ended up marrying Nadine because he felt bad that he shot her eye out. Which, yeah, I get it. But like that, he's been miserable ever since. I mean, he tries like a ton with Nadine. The scene is making me excited for Thanksgiving. Yeah, for sure. All that food. They never really get into what's wrong with Donna's mom, right? With why she's in a wheelchair. I don't think they ever really mention it. Maybe they mention like briefly once what she has, like what disease she has. But I don't think they ever mentioned anything more than that, right? There's Ed, who I was talking about, Tasha. And yeah, I knew you were talking about the food. That's why I commented on the food. Oh, that's right. Dr. Jacoby's backing up on his feet. I think it's funny how I think he's what, like the mayor or something? Dougie. He's like running for mayor, or he is the mayor, something like that. But in the return, we get the character of Dougie, who's another doppelganger of Cooper, basically, is the very abridged version of it. But then we have a Dougie here in the original seasons. Can you see my underpants and my shoes? Nadine asked Ed. That's hilarious.
Sweetheart, I can't see a thing in your shoes.
I got Tasha sending me your whole family tree. Huh? That's funny. Yeah, all the Palmers. That's crazy.
They made this very serious promise to each other to be best friends forever.
Oh, best friends forever. That was their promise. BFFs. You got to finish the return. What type of fucking heresy is that? What do you mean finish? Where did you get to and then stop? And what would compel you to do that? Tell me, Ginger. We're now. Court is in session. Plot twist: she's not wearing any. Could be. Who knows? Nadine is so weird. I'm curious, Ginger, what episode like you got up to, because I can't wait to get to the return with these watch alongs, which, as I calculated, should be in like after another 4 watches or so. 3 or 4 watches, because 3 episodes, 3 would be, so 4 is 12, so like 4. And then we'll be on to The Return, which I cannot wait. Because this is going to be the more, like I said, the worst part of the series, basically, is from here going on to the end, like maybe the second to last episode before the finale of season 2. And it's not nothing terrible, but it's just nowhere near good and brilliant like everything else in the show is. No fucking idea. It got so out there, confused the heck out of me. Well, yeah, it'll definitely do that, even if you follow this show and know everything almost religiously from it. But also, did you watch the first 2 seasons right before The Return? And did you watch Fire Walk with Me, the movie, before The Return? Because if you don't watch Fire Walk with Me before watching The Return, you're going to be so lost. There's so much stuff in Fire Walk with Me that you need to know and like have seen that film. And even the missing pieces cut of the Fire Walk with Me, which is all just deleted scenes or alternate scenes from Fire Walk with Me. That I would even say you don't have to watch it, but it helps a lot with figuring out a lot of the weird stuff going on in The Return. I love how that sky looks there. It's like this, it's going to storm any moment. Every time Audrey comes in, that's a little saxophone you get. He's getting ready to leave. That's right. He goes on this fishing trip with Major Briggs. And yeah, this is like where they shy away from the whole Audrey Cooper romance. Sherilyn Fenn was so gorgeous. And that's right. Is this where he tells her about Linda? Or not Linda, what's her name? The one that died when Demerle and stuff. That's what I mean. Everything with season 2 going forward, the Wyndham Earl stuff and the history there. There's good stuff, but a lot of it is just stuff I don't remember. Yeah, this is when he talks about it. Wyndham Earl was Cooper's partner. And Cooper had a thing with his wife. Caroline, right? That's her name. And also Bob via Leland mentions this situation. I think Pittsburgh, he says, right? In just the last episode, when he before Leland regains his functions before he dies and stuff, when he screams out what happened with you, Agent Cooper, back in Pittsburgh all those years ago, something to that effect. He mentions that and foreshadows this. She's so adorable. One day I'm going to be grown up and out there. You better watch out. That waterfall. Love that waterfall. This Bobby looking all professional. That's right. They got Leo in a coma. They've been taking care of him. Whereas Tasha, if you don't know, well, you don't know. Leo, Bobby, this guy here, was Laura's boyfriend. And then he was cheating on her with this girl, Shelly, who works at the diner at the Double R. And she was married to this guy, Leo, who's in the chair. He got shot. Now he's in like a coma, or not a coma, but he can't do anything. He just has sips food through a straw and shit. And they thought that they were able to maybe get like money to take care of him and they'd be set. And they're just barely scraping by now, and they have to take care of him like as a guardian or some shit. So they don't know what to do. He's trying to go see Ben Horne and try to get a job. They only get like, I think, a small amount of help, like from the government, like to help out with Leo and his medical care and stuff a month. And it's like nothing. But she was married to Leo. He was dating Laura Palmer. Laura was cheating on him with James, Ed, and Nadine. Well, Ed's nephew, and another character, and probably a few others. Like I said, everyone's fucking each other in this show. Has a lot in common with Italian giallo films. The blackmail, everyone's having affairs with everyone else. I don't know how she just fakes her death like this. She was gone all this time for months, it seems. I don't know how long it was. I don't know if it was months, but it was at least a month or so. I forget how long the investigation actually lasts from when Cooper first arrives in town and Laura is found dead to now. But it's definitely at least a month plus. But she went missing and was presumed dead for a while since the mill burnt down. And then she comes out of hiding and everything's cool. And this is another instance where we hear angels brought up in this series, which we see a lot more of in Fire Walk with Me in the movie, in the prequel, where she's mentioning that an angel saved her life that night in the woods. Man, I miss Piper Laurie so much. She was in so many great things. Like, Carrie. I mean, she played Mrs. White, Carrie's mother. She was in Argento's Trauma, which is a very underrated role for her and movie in general. I love Trauma by Argento. And she was in so many things. I mean, she probably, if you look up her filmography and stuff, her career, probably a few hundred roles between film and TV. Piper Laurie did so many things. And yeah, Ginger's coming in with some other cast members. Yeah, absolutely. Those are the trinity of hotness in this show, without a doubt. Sherilyn Fenn. I never know how to say her name. Madchen Amick. Madchen Amick. Something like that. And Laura from Boyle, yeah. I always was partial to Donna, to Laura Flynn Boyle. Even though the only Funko that I own is Audrey Horne Funko. Because I mean, I loved Audrey too. All three of them. But Donna, for some reason, was always the one for me. And Laura Flynn Boyle did not age too well, I'm sad to say. Sherilyn Fenn still looks decent. She still looks pretty damn good for her age. And Madrigan, I haven't seen her since The Return, but she was still looking fine, which was not a surprise. Always called that she would age the best out of all of them. Which I always forget Madrigan is in Sleepwalkers by Mick Garris, the Stephen King's original story that he made into a movie. I just rewatched that recently, and I forgot that she's in that. And she's great in that movie too. Even though that's not like a great film, but it's entertaining. They're like vampire cats, almost, is like basically what they are. Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. She definitely would have been loopy. Honestly, though, I feel like she didn't go as loopy as some other people in the world today, just like in general. I feel like she's not as loopy, but she definitely, lost some marbles. But I mean, also, who knows what Hollywood and shit? It's probably such a crazy business and world that we can't even imagine, right? Like how that is. So I'm sure most people, like once you reach a certain level of fame, I'm sure most people lose a little bit of their fucking minds in some way. Just even if it's just to cope and to deal with all of that. The whole thing with Andy and Dick with the baby, all of that's just like, whatever. And he's a great actor too. The guy who plays Dick Tremaine, I forget his name. That rhymed. Hawk is great. And I love how they gave Hawk a big role in The Return in season 3. He basically like on kickstarts the whole plot. Yeah, he thinks this is goodbye. It's not. You're gonna be hanging around, Cooper. What a great friendship, though, between the two of them. I love the whole dynamic between Harry and Cooper. It's one of my favorite relationships on the show. This is unbelievable. I was wondering why Madchen's name was familiar. I realized Riverdale. Yeah, that's right. She was in Riverdale. I never watched that, but I do know that she was on that. Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's still to this day. I'm pretty sure she was a supermodel. Like she was started in modeling and then got into acting. Something like that. I'm sure you recognize, Tasha, a bunch of these faces. Especially Cooper. Kyle MacLachlan, he worked with David Lynch for a lot of movies. But then he was in so many things too. Everyone on this show, for the most part, went on to do a bunch of either television series and like guest spots on TV shows, and a lot of them had good movie careers. Yeah, exactly. Like you'll recognize most of their faces. The whistle and he blows. That's funny. This is basically because there's a whole meta analysis for this whole property, this whole show, and everything, and that it's David Lynch giving a commentary. It's like a whole meta commentary on how about television in the modern age and violence on TV, and how everyone, like, the more violent it is, the better. the way to conquer that. Like, it's a whole commentary on television, basically. But that's like a whole rabbit hole of going down. Like, it's a huge rabbit hole. There's like a 4.5 hour long video, which is a great video, by Twin Perfect. I think the guy's name, the channel name. And it's a 4.5 hour video of him explaining all of Twin Peaks, like from season 1, the movie, season 3, The Return, everything. And fleshing out that whole meta commentary on it all being about television. It's a fantastic watch. That's right. So now they're trying to fuck with him. That's why he has to stay too. They're fucking with him because when he went to go save Audrey got kidnapped at a place in Canada, north of the border from where they are. And she was held hostage. And then Cooper and Truman went and saved her. And she almost died of a heroin overdose. The guys who kidnapped her at this One-Eyed Jack's. It's like a ladies' club or a gentleman's club and casino that ladies prostitute themselves at. And Laura was working there for a certain amount of time. A few other characters, like the females who got murdered. And he went and rescued her. So now I guess I forget who it is, Internal Affairs or someone at the FBI. They're investigating him, that it was unlawful for him to go across the border to Canada and to go rescue Audrey. This is basically what they're trying to shit can him for, which is ridiculous. You don't see Bobby and Audrey talk a lot on this show. They don't really cross paths that much. But every time they do, I really enjoy the way they act together. This is one of the few scenes that really sticks out to me with the two of them. Because Audrey wasn't really friendly with Laura. She knew her and was, didn't have anything negative with her, didn't have a bad relationship, but she wasn't like friendly with her. And Bobby was Laura's boyfriend. I don't think she really talked to him much either. I'm bringing a fly swatter. They immediately throw Bobby out. That's funny. He looks so. It's so weird seeing Bobby in a suit like that. Even though he does go on to be to be a sheriff deputy in The Return. Sherilyn Fenn saying I like the lick is fine in any context. Yeah, now they're interviewing Cooper. Yeah, so they're trying to nail him for crossing the border without contacting, the right authorities, which is so stupid. Yeah, let's let the girl die, and just sort of respect the boundary laws. That's right. That's why they're all pissed about it, because they were trying to set Ronald up, the guy who kidnapped Audrey at One Eyed Jack's. They were trying to set him up like on the drugs and stuff. So he fucked up their whole investigation. Hmm. He has 24 hours to assemble his defense. That here. Oh, that's right. He has to surrender his gun and badge. I guess they interview Truman too. I mean, he's going to corroborate everything that Cooper said. He won't even give a statement. That's great. Stuff it. That's right. You tell him, Truman. Oh, Truman really gushing over Cooper here. I love how he still offers coffee to them on their way out. Coffee's always that prevalent and important in Twin Peaks. Go steeple jackets. Oh, this is the shit with Nadine, right? Trying to be a cheerleader. How stupid all of this is. Everything to do with Nadine in this season from here out. She wants to be a cheerleader for some reason. I don't know why. No, it's very important in Twin Peaks. That's actually, I was going to say something, but you went to make your coffee earlier before you dove into all this without knowing anything. But coffee is a huge thing in Twin Peaks. Like they make a big deal of it. Agent Cooper loves his coffee. And one of his phrases is damn fine coffee, or damn fine cup of coffee. Gordon Cole, who's played by David Lynch, who's Cooper's boss in the FBI. He comes every now and then. They're all obsessed with coffee. Like damn fine cup of coffee is one of the most popular quotes from the show. And she has to brush his teeth every day, like multiple times like that. That blows. That sucks, man. And she barely getting money. Oh, Leo's starting to move. She says put him in a home. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Coffee connoisseurs. He moves, she says. Yep. He's in a wheelchair, though. So, I mean, yeah, the wheels will move from time to time. The double R. which is the diner where they all hang out, which they're always drinking coffee. Anyone who is in this diner. Something about the mom here reminds me of Lila Loomis from Psycho. It's not her, right? It's not the actress. Right? It's not Vera Miles who plays her mom on this, is it? I doubt it. Okay, no, it's not. I was gonna say there's no way that's Vera Miles. But she does remind me of Lila Loomis from Psycho and Psycho 2. I mean, it doesn't look like Vera Miles, but she just has that Lila Loomis feel. She's such a bitch, though, this mother. I really just want her to go. Just get out of here. Stop bothering my Norma. Is that a smoke machine in the back? Like to buy cigarettes? If so, that's funny. Pretty sure it is. Because you never see those anymore. Only place I've seen like those old cigarette uh dispensers, like cigarette vending machines, is still some like old pubs in Manhattan. I still see them in some places in Manhattan now and then. I mean, I haven't been to Manhattan in a few years, but I used to still see them every now and then. If it was like an old timey pub or something like that, or just a very old establishment, you would see them still every now and then. This is One Eyed Jack's, that place I was talking about, where Audrey was kidnapped at. Oh, that's right. So this is Hank with the husband of his mother-in-law, the guy that he has dirt on. Pretty sure he kills him, right? Doesn't he kill him? Yeah, it looked like one of those machines. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't kill him. I really don't remember what happens with this guy. That's right. So Renault is still alive, who was played by the great Michael Parks. And he was so young in this. I love how One Eyed Jacks also has like red curtains all over the place. So this guy has laundered money for the drug cartels and shit. He's really like spewing all his information out to Ronaldo. I forget this scene and what happens in it. The guy comes in with the briefcase, the drugs, right? All right, so he's giving Ernie like a bundle of whatever that is, kilo of coke or something. Forget what happens with this guy Ernie and this character. He don't last long, I know that. He doesn't like the look of him. He says he's too nervous. Yeah, I agree. He has revenge on his mind after Cooper. Oh, that's right. That's what they do. They try planting the coke on Cooper on his car or something like that. A little bit of coke, and it fucks with their whole investigation and the guys that are prying into him. That's what happens. But I forget what happens to Ernie though. I feel like they have a registry somewhere with just 1,000 shots of the moon, with the clouds passing it, and any person making a movie or a TV series and something, they need a shot of the moon, they go to that registry and they can pick any moon they want from thousands of them. I'm pretty sure there's something like that exists, because goddamn, do we see so many shots of the moon in so many movies, TV shows. There has to be a place that they all get it from. They can like shotofmoon.com and you pick your own. They have to. They probably do. I think they definitely do. And oh yeah, it's a great looking room. Everything that David Lynch shoots is gorgeous. To sum it up. The woods are creepy as hell too. All right, this is when Briggs and Cooper go on their little fishing trip, right? Or their camping trip. I haven't seen the scene in a while, so there's a lot of interesting stuff I think that's said in this. Looking for another victim to inhabit. The internet. The internet, IMDb International Moon Database. There you go. That's exactly what they have. They gotta have something. There's so many shots of the moon used in so many movies. There has to be an IMDb, just like he said. They go there, I need my moon. Same with the sun and the sunsets and certain shots. They gotta have like certain, places where you can just pick all that out, which they do. Stock footage, but whoa, what the hell is that? The lodge is fucking with us. Stock footage, but I'm talking just much more specific, like that. IMDb just for moonshots. That's right. We see another owl, right? Because this is where Briggs disappears. That's right. He was about to tell him more about the White Lodge. And then he disappears. And it even says, and you hear the owl hoot And it says, and makes a point for the captions to say owl hoots. So I wonder if that's Bob that's around fucking with them. Because they were just saying and talking about, and Cooper was saying how he, wonders about Bob and where he is, like in his form now. And now Cooper calls out, Briggs calls out for Cooper. He's gone. And what looks like what you would imagine a UFO abduction or something. Executive producers, Mark Frost, David Lynch. Awesome. So that is episode 10. So we're up to 11, 12, and 13 with the next stream, which we'll go, since now it's back to normal, and after Halloween in October, we'll go back to doing every other weekend on Saturday for Twin Peaks. So in 2 weeks, we will do the next 3 episodes. But awesome. It was great watching some Twin Peaks, because it's like I said, it's always like going back home when I hear those credits and the music open and stuff, whenever an episode starts. But yeah, we got some rough shit ahead of us with the rest of this season, but nothing like too terrible. Once we get to the return, that's going to be great. 18 episodes. They're an hour each. So like I said earlier, we'll do like 2 a stream. It'll take 9 streams to finish the return. Thank you for the intro, of course. It's one of the greatest shows ever. And we'll watch more, I'm sure. But all right, guys, everyone have a good night. It is 1:32 a.m. on Sunday, the 23rd of November, just in case you needed to know that information for some reason. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the new channel, go do that. And you want to watch this in the future, subscribe to this, subscribe to everyone in the chat, subscribe to everybody. It's a subscription fucking fever. But all right, guys, good night. I will talk to you soon.